Greetings, mortal. You have entered the domain of eternal night. Here, beneath the earth, we wave the tales of terror and immortality. As you dare to enter here this Halloween, I will tell you tales and stories that have been whispered throughout the ages of vampires as ancient as moon who feed on fear and darkness. But keep in mind, these are not mere stories. They are warnings for those who wander too far into the darkness. Listen closely, for if you do not, the next chapter may be yours. Boo. I hope that little trick did not scare you to death. Anyway, as promised, the first story is called The Haunted Blood Moon. It was a Halloween night just like this one, and the blood moon shone on the sleepy town of Raven's Hollow. Legend had it that every 100 years during a blood moon like this, an ancient vampire queen, Celine, would awake. For 100 years she would slumber under the thick walls of the castle on the hill, her power dormant, waiting for the right time to arise again. Max and Emily were two teenagers with a real passion for urban legends, and so they decided to spend the night in the castle and to see for themselves if the myth was true. As they wandered through the crumbling corridors, the air grew thicker and colder, and they stumbled upon an old crypt. There, beneath the shattered stone lid, lay the coffin of Celine. Before they could leave, the moonlight streamed in through the cracked windows, and the vampire queen stared, her eyes open, glowing red, as she slowly emerged from the coffin. But Celine was not alone. Her loyal followers, now only skeletal remains draped in tattered robes, rose from their grave around her, ready to feast on the blood of the living. Poor Emily and Max had only one chance to survive. With quick thinking, they remembered the ancient legend. The only way to banish Celine was to trap her back in the coffin before the blood moon was gone. With the dawn approaching, the hunt began, a race for survival as the vampire queen hunted them through the castle's labyrinthine walls. All right, so the next story is called The Midnight Ball. What is that? Oh, you are asking why I did not finish the story. Well, the thing is, if you are brave enough, or maybe stupid enough, you will be able to choose the ending that suits you best. Now, what was I saying? Right, the Midnight Ball. For decades, the grand mansion on the outskirts of town has stood abandoned. Its once vibrant ballroom now a relic of the past. But on a Halloween night, it came alive. Every year, a mysterious invitation would arrive at the homes of unsuspecting townspeople. You are cordially invited to the Midnight Ball. Samantha was an adventurous young woman, and she was among the few who had received the invitation that year. When she arrived, the mansion was aglow with candlelight, and the ballroom was filled with elegant people who were outstandingly dressed, but to her seemed slightly off. The music was intoxicating, and Samantha found herself swept up in the strange charm of this party. As the night wore off, she noticed something rather peculiar. The mirrors in the ballroom reflected nothing else besides her own pretty reflection. All the other guests, despite the elegant and vibrant appearance, casted no reflection. Panic set in as she realized the truth. She was the only human at the ball. The rest of the guests were vampires, and the midnight ball was their feast. Before midnight struck, she had to find the way out, but the doors were sealed shut, and the vampires started to circle around her. Desperate, Samantha found the single silver dagger hidden in one of the mansion's antique displays. That was the only weapon that could kill a vampire. And so she had to make a choice: fight her way out or become the night's main course. Well, yes, my dear, no ending for this one either. Anyway, the next story is called The Vampire's Bargain. In a small village at the edge of a dark forest, every Halloween, a vampire known as the Collector would appear to make his bargain. The villagers had grown accustomed to his visits, for as long as they honored their part of the deal, he would let them be in peace. In exchange for protection, they would offer this collector a child chosen randomly, and the child would live with the vampire for a year. Every child was always returned unharmed, but there was something different about them. Pale skin, sharp eyes, and the mysterious silence. This year it was young Clara's turn. Fearful but brave, she was taken to the vampire's castle, where she would be greeted by the Collector himself. Tall, elegant, and ageless, he was a creature with a mesmerizing voice. As Clara settled into the life in the castle, she realized that the Collector was no ordinary vampire. He did not drink blood, and instead he would feed on fear, growing stronger and stronger from the terror of the ones living with him. But Clara wasn't like the others. Rather than succumbing to fear, she asked questions and showed curiosity about the Collector's very, very long life. Slowly but surely she gained his trust, and eventually she discovered the truth. The Collector was cursed to feed on fear alone until someone willingly chose to stay by his side, breaking this ancient curse. As Halloween approached again, Clara had to decide: return to her village and break free from the deal, or stay and release this vampire from his eternal torment. The decision was difficult, as Clara knew that either way she could never go back to the world she once knew. And that, mortal, concludes all the stories that I am going to tell you today. If you are brave or smart or stupid enough, you will choose your endings right. Before you go, let me advise you on one thing. Do not wander to the darkness of the underworld ever.